Hello and welcome to Louise Singleton Creations. In today's video I'll be trying out the Purair air purifier from Resiners, which is designed specifically for resin artists. So if you're concerned about the air quality in your workspace when using epoxy resin, stay tuned and enjoy the video. So before we begin, let me just show you where my Resiners Purair is going to live, just at the side of my craft room behind where I sit. It doesn't need to be right next to where you're working because it covers an area of 14.5 square metres. And have you noticed how well it matches my craft room? The colour's almost the same, isn't it? It's kind of blending into the wallpaper. I think it's very stylish actually. I like it a lot. The Purair is designed specifically to get rid of the VOCs from epoxy resin. However, it can also be used as an everyday air purifier, and one thing I've already noticed about it is that it gets rid of smells. And as you can see in the background there, I have a laser engraver. When I'm engraving or cutting wood, it tends to make a bit of a burnt wood smell, and I have found the Purair gets rid of that smell, which is an absolute bonus. So let's have a closer look at it. Okay, so this is the top of the air purifier where all the buttons are, and as you can see, it's a very user-friendly interface. It displays the room temperature and humidity, which is super useful for resin artists, and the first button lets you toggle from Fahrenheit to Celsius. As you will see, my room temperature is very cold, which is one of the reasons I was pleased to get this at this time of year, because it means I don't have to have my window open for ventilation on such a cold day. The second button is for the fan strength, so if you know you're about to be doing something that's going to need a lot of filtration going on, you can up the power to the maximum, or if you don't need much on, you can turn it down to the lowest. However, I don't use that button. I found that I like the next button, which is the auto button. If you turn your air purifier on and set it to auto and just leave it, it will automatically detect when there's anything that needs cleaning out of the air, and it will just decide for itself how strong the fan needs to be. So it looks after you without you even having to think about it. So the next button is the timer. If you want to set your air purifier to be on for a certain amount of time, you can set that up to 9 hours. So if you've got a project that you've just done and you want it to keep cleaning the air for the next few hours, you can do that. And so that's another cool function. The green light that you can see on the screen indicates the air quality. Green is good, amber is not so good, and red is bad. So yeah, that's another good function, and it lights up on the sides as well, so you can see from all angles what it's detecting at that time. The icon in the middle indicates the life that's left in the filter. The filter is removable and you can change it for a new one, and it will start to flash when it's running low. And that will be after around 2,000 hours of use, which I think is excellent. So with all that said, let's see how well it performs. I've put the air purifier right next to where I'm working, not because it needs to be next to where I'm working, but because I wanted you to be able to see what was happening whilst I was using the resin at the same time. Along with the Purair, Resiners also sent me some of their lovely pressed flowers, so I decided to use those to make some greetings cards. And so whilst I'm making those, I can tell you a little bit more about the air purifier. And yeah, it's not going to be a tutorial as such, it's just something for you to look at whilst I'm waffling away. So one question I know a lot of you will have is, do I still need to wear a respirator? Well, let me tell you what Resiners said in answer to that question. While the Resiners Purair effectively reduces harmful substances, wearing a respirator during epoxy resin use, especially in high concentrations and enclosed spaces, is essential for personal protection. This dual approach enhances safety, particularly when large amounts of resin are used quickly. We recommend turning on the Purair before starting your work and keeping it on throughout the process to maintain optimal air quality. So there's the official answer from Resiners, and yeah, I think that's very clear. But the thing is, you can't make your pets wear one, can you? They don't make dog-sized or hamster-sized respirators. And the same for your family. They can't be expected to wear one if you're crafting in the house. So having the Purair running, getting rid of those excess VOCs as much as it possibly can is, well, it's got to be a bonus, hasn't it? I'm just thinking now I've said that, people in the comments are going to be saying, actually, they do make masks for dogs. And I think they do. But anyway, you know what I mean. So you might have noticed I'm going through this quite quickly. And that's because nothing much is happening. Have you noticed the numbers aren't really changing? And I was thinking, hang on a minute, what am I going to show my viewers if this resin isn't giving me any VOCs? And it really wasn't. There was nothing coming from it. And I was starting to worry, you know, I mean, it's a bit of it's a bit of a difference to usual, isn't it? Where you actually want the VOCs to start coming off it. But yeah, nothing was happening. And I thought, oh, well, this is great. This is going to be a great video, isn't it? So yeah, I got the whole first layer of my card fronts done with no sign on the machine of it detecting any VOCs at all. And so once I'd finished, I left the room. I left it on just in case anything changed, and I left the camera running on time-lapse. And luckily, it was lucky that I'd left the camera rolling, because I was in the other room and all of a sudden I looked through the windows of the doors, because my doors to my craft room have windows on, and I was in the next room, and I could see the light had gone red. And I thought, oh, oh, it is detecting them. So what had happened was, once it started to cure, that was when it started to release the VOCs, not whilst I was actually working with it. So I found that very interesting to know. So this is the time lapse. It was actually going for about 2 hours. And that's how you see how the numbers went up, and then they go down again and it goes back to green. So yeah, once it did start to cure, that was when the VOCs started, and it went up to 6 point something, and then it gradually started to go all the way back down once the resin stopped emitting those VOCs. Okay then, so it's the next day, and my initial plan was to fill up the moulds with black resin to finish them off. But because I hadn't had much of anything to show you, I decided to take them outside, spray that first layer of cured resin with some black spray paint, and then bring it all straight back in so you can see how quickly it does detect the VOCs. And yeah, that was my thoughts on that one. The one thing I will say is, though, when you get this, it does come with a warning saying that if you use isopropyl alcohol or, you know, any kind of alcohol near it, it does really react to it. And so I'm not sure whether it was the alcohol in the spray paint that it reacted to or the VOCs. I don't know. But still, the whole idea of doing this was just to show you how quickly it does respond. So here we are, I'm back from the garden. Let's see how quickly the numbers change. I've kept it in real time, so there was no speeding up, and look, it's already, oh, it's not happy, is it? Oh dear, it's gone up to its maximum. Full strength fan, it really did not like that spray paint at all. So let me show you what it sounds like. So that was quite loud. It really didn't like that spray paint at all. I don't really think I should have done it, but anyway, it cleared the air and it got rid of the smell, which is great. But yeah, it's very loud when it's on the highest speed, the exhaust settings. But when it's on the low setting, you can't hardly even hear it. So yeah, it's not always loud. So all you can see me doing here is filling up those moulds with some clear resin, and now let's go straight to the demoulding. So I think these turned out really nice. I liked the flowers that came from Resiners. They were good. There was a lot of foliage in there, which I was pleased about. I always like it when there's plenty of foliage. It's no use just having flowers and no foliage, is it? And so yeah, they look really good, and I think the black background makes them stand out. If I did them again, I probably wouldn't use black. I'd use something else dark. I think it's a little bit severe. But still, I like them. And they made good greetings cards. So it's handy to have little note cards in, isn't it? Just in case. Okay, so what are my overall thoughts on the Purair from Resiners? Well, I think what would sell it to me most if I needed to buy another one is the fact that it detects what the regular everyday air purifiers don't. It's designed to detect the VOCs from epoxy resin and completely get rid of them before giving you pure air back out of the machine. I also love the fact that although it's large, it's very light, and with the carry handle at the back, it's very easy to move from room to room. I love how it makes the room feel really fresh and clean when you walk in, but most of all, I think it's the peace of mind that I get from using it. It makes me feel safer, and it does make me feel happier about using resin in my home. And at this stage, I'm supposed to tell you the things I don't like, but in all honesty, I can't think of anything. And I know that sounds really bad because it makes me sound biased, but honestly, I can't think of anything I don't like about it, and I would highly recommend it to you all. You can't put a price on the health of yourself or your family and pets. Please check out the link and discount code in the video description if you're interested. If the video has been useful to you, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you would like to. Today's video was a Wednesday review video, but if you prefer full videos showing art tutorials, be it resin art or eco-resin art, or sometimes completely different things, join me every Sunday for those. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.